If your garage door is moving slower than it's supposed to, like mine is, watch this, and it feels like it's just struggling, I've got a few tips that will help you to be able to troubleshoot that and get things moving back the way they should be. Now the first thing we want to check before you do anything with the door itself is to check on the opener. We're going to pop open the panel here, and then you want to look to see if there's any dials or buttons to be able to adjust the force of the garage door opener. In my case, there is an up and down arrow here, but those are actually for programming and putting things into position, but there is no little dial or anything to adjust how strong the force is to open or close the door. So nothing I can do here, but always check there first. Sometimes it's just been decreased and you need to turn it up. Now before we lubricate anything, we want to check for any buildup of debris. In my case, this is very clean. You can see the track is actually looking like it's pretty clean. There's not a lot of debris built up, but if you do have some, you want to wet a cloth, get it a little bit damp, and then wipe that down. So to lubricate the different parts of the garage door, we're going to use a silicone-based lubricant. We're not using standard WD-40 because that's going to attract more debris and it's not ideal for this application. You don't want to use standard oil either. You want to use something that's silicone-based or meant for this sort of application. Now coming over here, as far as parts, we have the rollers, which are these guys in the black that are inside the track. We have the roller pins that they're attached to, and this whole unit is called the roller pin bracket. And all three of these will likely need some sort of lubrication. The roller pin brackets also act as hinges for the garage door on the outsides here. And so we're gonna just use the straw. I'm gonna spray a little bit on there, a little bit in here, and a little bit on the hinges themselves. And you just need a little bit and kind of do it on the top and let gravity do some of the work for you. So that's pretty much, I'll do another little one right there. All I'm gonna need to do for each of these. I'm gonna work my way up and down the garage door until those are all done. I'll do the same thing on these hinges that are inside the middle of the door, little on either side, starting on the top, and we'll call it good. And then I'll move up and down to get all of the hinges, and there's quite a few of them on the garage door. We just want to make sure to get every one of them. We're gonna give it another try and see if that makes any difference. Still moving pretty slow. Doesn't sound as bad yet. Gonna try it one more time, let it move up and down a couple times and see if it starts to loosen up. The next thing to check is to make sure that if there is a track up here that needs lubricating, so for example, if you have a type of belt or chain that has a track that encloses it, it's usually in a C shape, then that may need some lubricating as well. Now with this, always check the manufacturer's recommendations, see if you can find the manual for your garage door opener to see if it needs that. Some of them come with some oil on these that don't require any lubrication down the road, so be sure to check that, but that is a point that you're going to want to look at to see if maybe that's causing some of the issue as well. Now if none of that has worked yet, there are a couple more things we can try. One of them is the tension on the garage door. Now this is not something I recommend you necessarily do on your own unless you feel really comfortable with this or you have some experience with this. This is a good time to call a garage door technician if you need some help with this. But that said, we can diagnose the issue pretty easily. To diagnose it without doing anything dangerous, you can disengage the garage door by pulling on this rope to disengage it from the track. And basically the door is just on its own at that point and not connected to the opener. With that, you can lift the door and see if it actually is coming up fairly easily or if it's still really heavy and difficult. If it's really heavy and difficult, that means the garage door doesn't have enough tension applied to it. Or if you start to lift it and it just flies up, that means this is over tightened. And so either of those cases will require some adjustment of the tension. Now fortunately in my case, the lubricant that we applied to the rollers and the hinges seem to make pretty much all the difference. It's a lot quieter and it's moving a lot faster now. We're not getting all that racket that we heard before with the screeching and the scraping noises, and it's moving at a much better pace. Still slow, but this is kind of how ours has always been. Now if none of those work, you may need to call a garage door company and have them come take a look. If you think that you need to replace this, I've got a video right here that you can check out on how to replace the garage door opener. I'm Nils with Learn to DIY. Thanks for watching.